And hello YouTube, this is GSmaniamsmart and I'm today on a brand new video for gaming with GS, and today we're here on a Hearthstone. I just want to show you guys some awesome matches that I had recorded which really show the power of the cheap tempo Mage dust deck that I showed you. If you don't know what deck I'm talking about, if you haven't seen my video on the deck yet, I encourage you to check it out. I'll leave a link in the description, a card and an annotation on screen right now, because if you play Mage, you're gonna love this deck. You don't need Legendaries, you don't need Epics, you don't need none of that crap. And people who play those cards, you can still wreck pretty hard. So I'm gonna show you the deck real quick. I'm not gonna go over it entirely because the other videos for that. But just to give you a quick look at what it looks like, we're gonna be playing 3 matches, and I think those 3 matches are very different. They really show you the power of this deck and what you can really do with it. So these are the cards we have. Like I said, if you want to see the video on why we have these cards and how you can get these cards, then check the deck guide. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the 3 games that I recorded. They're technically 4, but I mean, one of them I basically conceded because I had a crappy hand. So hopefully enjoy the three matches. Hopefully you'll learn something, and if you like this deck, definitely encourage you to play it, especially if you're a mage and you're looking for a cheap dust deck that isn't very hard to build at all. Alright, so first match here. Let's see who we're gonna get. I think our first match was against a Shaman, I think. Typically what you'll notice me do a lot is discard a lot of the cards I start to get at the very beginning, if they're not the Mana Worm, if they're not the Gnome, if they're not Mirror Image or Sorcerer. Like here you see we have Mirror Image, which is a great starting card, and Sorcerer is good too, but the other 2 spells are really best mid-late game. So what you really want to get is Knife Juggler. Knife Juggler early on or Mana Worm early on are great things to start with. So I wanted to try something new here. I was gonna use the ring to get a second mana crystal, to then drop out the Knife Juggler, and then follow up next round with a Sorcerer and then 2 Mirror Images, which basically do 4 or 5 damage, even more than that, in one round, which is crazy good. So that's what we're going to try to do here, and I think we actually succeeded doing this. Here we gain 2 mana, we bring out a Knife Juggler. Now, the only dangerous thing with this is you have to kind of be careful. If you're going against a warrior, he's probably going to clear it really quickly, so there's no point in doing that. If you're going against a rogue, they may be able to clear it as well. But it was sort of a risk I took here, and it ended up paying off because he's not going to be able to clear that. So it's definitely something I suggest you try. If you have Mana Worm, though, I think that's always a better starting card. So he can't clear it, and here's where the power comes in. We drop Sorcerer, which does 1 damage, then we drop Mirror Image, which does another damage, and then another damage, and then another 3 damage. That's 6 damage all in 1 turn. Now, you see me hovering my mouse over the Arcane Missiles. We're not going to use that though, because Arcane Missile is a great card to use for clearing the deck. If you see something with like 3 health, 2 health, and you don't want to sacrifice one of your minions, it's great to use Arcane Missiles, because hopefully if you're lucky, it'll basically kill the enemy's minion. So right now we have 2 taunts on the board, protecting our Sorcerer and protecting our Knife Juggler. And unless the Shaman has a low AoE clear, which is pretty rare, he's gonna be stuck with this for quite some time. I think what I'm thinking here of doing is using Arcane Missiles if he puts any minion, because I want to keep my minions at top health so I can continue to attack. So there he uses just his hero power. Now that 1 damage isn't really gonna do much to us, so you don't even need to worry about it that much, because it can't kill our Knife Juggler, it can't kill our Sorcerer, and it definitely can't kill any of our taunts as well. So he basically froze our Knife Juggler, which didn't kill, and the passive effects still work. So here I'm just gonna keep on stacking the board, since he's having a pretty hard time clearing anything, so may as well stack the board. And I'm gonna hold on to the Arcane Missiles because I want to save it for something that has a lot more health. Next round I can easily clear it with a Fireball, that minion that he has. So I'd rather save Arcane Missiles to clear something that's a bit more threatening rather than just a 1/1 minion. So here he brings out his own Knife Juggler, and that can be dangerous, especially since we have a lot of low health cards on the field. If he brings out 2 or 3 mobs, then we'll definitely be dead. So it'd be a good idea to use Arcane Missiles here. And unfortunately, that's a really good play that he did there. And even more unfortunate, he got the lucky hit to take out our charge minion, which had 3 attack. So fairly good play on his part. And he attacks the taunt. Now for here, I'm using Arcane Missiles. I want to get rid of some of these, perhaps with some luck. And with some luck, we actually do get rid of the Knife Juggler, which is threatening. And with our Fireball, we get rid of the 2-1. We'll leave the 1-1 on the board because it's not a real threat. It'll take out one of our taunts, but we'll still be in the game. Now, what you see me doing also is saving my Fireball and my Frostbolt. That's one of the things you always want to do. You never want to use your Fireball or Frostbolts until you have to use it. If you see something really threatening on the board and you can't get rid of it, then use it. But essentially, you always want to save it till the end because you can actually kill them. You can take a lot of damage with your spell with Frostbolt, and then with Ice Lance in combination, that's 7 damage plus the Fireball. You can do tons of damage very quickly in a few rounds. So here we're actually going to be able to kill him. That's a good card. He needed that earlier on this. So here's Fireball, and then we have the kill right here. So this match was heavily won by Knife Juggler. You saw how powerful a Knife Juggler was to do some early damage on, and then we were able to bring out the Sorcerer and continuously attack because of those taunts. So the mirror image you really want to use when you want to protect either Knife Juggler, either Sorcerer, or Mana Worm. What you'll see probably in one of the future games, you'll see me have mirror image in my hand, but I don't use it because there's nothing to protect it with. You want to use mirror image when you want to protect something valuable. So I think this next match is probably going to be that warrior match, which I end up losing, which I end up quitting actually. And you know, a lot of times, the thing with this game is you need to know when you can win and when you can't win. This hand right here is pretty much garbage. We don't have anything to start with. You want to start with a Knife Juggler or a Mana Worm or a Gnome or a Mirror Image, something you want to start with. But even after we discard, we're basically stuck with crap. We can't use any of this. None of this is pretty much useful. So, and as you see, we get a Mirror Image, and I pass. I'm attempting to start something. If I can get a Knife Juggler, maybe we could do something. But then again, like I said, Warrior is definitely going to be able to clear Knife Juggler with their weapon if they have a weapon spell in their hand. So this is already a bad sign here. He's bringing out the Armor Smith guy, which means he's going to bring out other minions, and we're going to have to clear, and he's just going to stack armor. So it's going to be really hard to win this match, especially since we don't have anything in our hand even. And here's the mistake, like I said, you bring out Knife Juggler against someone who has weapons, they're most likely going to be able to clear it because a Knife Juggler only has 2 health. And from here on, I actually end up realizing I really can't do anything. He already has the upper hand. I end up quitting. Part of this game is realizing when you can win a match and when you can't. I didn't see like I could win a match with the cards I had in my hand. Tempo Mage, this deck is very reliant on early game, very reliant on your first few rounds to capitalize on it. So here we're going against a Druid, and a pretty decent start. I think I'm actually going to be getting rid of the JVs. It's a great card, mid-game, late-game. Early game is not really necessary, though. And Mirror Image and Sorcerer, always great to have early game. So we're going to be keeping those 2 cards. And Frostbolt is an okay card. Not really useful much early game either, but it'll do. So we got the first turn, and you see we have Mirror Image in our hand, but there's no point in bringing it out. There's nothing to protect. And, you know, we want to be using that. We can boost our Mana Worm even, or when it's costing us less mana. So just like that, we're able to bring out Sorcerer on round 2 and then also protect it. So I guess we could have done that either way, but I didn't really know what he was going to play. So that's why I just played the safe route. So he's going to use a... he's gonna use his ring to bring something out. And from here... what do I end up doing here? Now the thing is, we want to clear that minion because it has a lot of health, so it's going to be there for a long time. So we don't have a Fireball. We want to remain having board control, so I end up using a Frostbolt, I think, here. to freeze it to save our taunts, and then basically to kill it next round. Because a minion with that high amount of health is gonna be bugging you for a few rounds, and we don't want things bugging us. We want to remain to have board control. So this deck sort of has some freeze mage synergies. I can see that. I saw some comments in the last video saying, "Oh, it's sort of like a freeze mage deck." Kind of. In certain situations, it can be very freeze magey. So here you go. We got arcane missiles. Great way to clear the board. That's why you want to save it just like that. And we're gonna bring out something a bit more tanky, I think. Oh no, we're not. Are we? I can't remember what I did here. I think we're bringing out GVs, exactly, because we want to keep on getting cards in our hands. Right now we have 2 cards in our hands, and whenever you can get free card draws, you want to use it. And GVs is great for that, because we only have 2 cards. It remains giving us 3, plus the opponent doesn't have many cards in his hand, so it's good anyway. And that was a good play by him. He got rid of the sorcerer, which, you know, sucks for us. And right now it's a pretty hard matchup. This is not a matchup you can easily win. We don't have really anything in our hand. We have a fireball. We don't really have a mana worm. We can't really boost anything. We don't really have a sorcerer. Right now, if you're in this situation here, there's not much you can do. So I'm sort of trying to tank the field up to keep my stuff alive. I'm actually going to be hitting that minion once so I can kill with the... I forget what name it is. The freeze guy. That minion there, I forget the name, but that's what's going through my mind right now. I'm trying to tank the board up so I can sort of keep board control. So here he uses a pretty powerful card too. A 5/4 can be very hard to deal with, and we get Knife Juggler, which is always great to have. And I think we're actually gonna be playing Knife Juggler and then playing the Silence card just to get some free damage off. If we can get lucky to kill that card on the right, that'd be great. And silencing obviously doesn't do anything, but what it does do is kill that minion on the right, which is great. It lowers it by 1 damage, and I think we use a fireball on it to kill, exactly. So I don't know why I'm hesitating. That's clearly the correct decision. So yeah, there we go. I guess I was thinking. So we basically have... Oh, it didn't die yet even. Okay. So I guess... I don't really know what I did there exactly, but as you see, we can't really do much. There's not much we can do. If you guys have a different situation for what I just did there in the comments section, you could let me know, because I remember when I was playing this, it was a pretty confusing time as well. So he brought a 7/7 here, and this is pretty hard to get rid of, so I want to be using Fireball. Like I said, if it's something really hard to get rid of, use Fireball. And here we're boosting up our Mana Worm, trying to get as many things out as possible, taking advantage of the Knife Juggler, and clearing the 7/7, which is pretty dangerous. In that situation, you would want to clear it with a Fireball. And with GV still alive, we're still able to keep drawing cards. You want to keep GVs alive as long as possible to keep drawing, keep drawing, keep drawing. And here, he's going to be using the same thing he did last time to kill Knife Juggler, which is a smart move. You know, he needs to do that anyway. Trying to kill GVs because he sees that I constantly keep drawing cards, but he's not going to have enough damage. So right now you want to get rid of as many cards as possible, because next round he's probably going to be dead. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to get rid of as much as possible here. Sorcerer out to easily give us more cards. And luckily we have a lot of low card, which is great. Here we're able to stack the board up really good. And this is one of the advantages of this deck with the low mana curve. We don't have a lot of high mana cost cards. So in situations like these, we're able to clear our hand really quickly. And as you see, we constantly keep on boosting that mana worm up with all these spells that we're getting. All these low mana cost spells, we're able to boost mana worm up a lot and keep it at a high attack. And he really can't do anything, because unless he has a high AoE clear, which it doesn't seem like he has to deal with those taunts first. So here he goes. He starts to heal himself, which is wise to do, because he sees he's about to be dead. But we have so much in the board stack right now, and we have a second mana worm, but there's no use really to it, because we don't have a lot of spells and we already have one. And in case he does have an AoE, you want to have one mana worm still in our hand. So instead, I think I'm actually going to be using Charge. Will I be using Charge, or will I be... I either charge or casting spells to boost our mana worm. So yeah, charge actually. And here we're just gonna keep on attacking, keep on attacking. Now what you could have done is probably used one of those ice lances to boost mana worm up by 1, so you could do 8 damage. You could have done that as well. As you see, that was my mistake right there. You always want to use your spells first before you hit with mana worm, because it will actually boost up the damage. So that was a small minor mistake, but not really anything crazy, but it is important. So here, people love using their epics. People love to use their epics, don't they? Sadly, this is the board is still stacked. He can't really do anything. So once again, we still have the entire board stack. That used all of his mana, and because we've boosted our mana worm so high already, we're still gonna be able to get him down to like half health still. And here, like you see, last round I made a mistake. I'm not making the same mistake again. I'm using Ice Lance first, and then I'm gonna be using mana worm to attack. So as you see, he's still pretty low now, even if he used that that epic heal there. Now, the worst case that could possibly happen here is if he uses another epic heal. But especially with that taunt's going to be pretty dangerous, and he's actually going to turn into a 10-10. So because we have no fireball, it can be hard to deal with. But the good thing is we've boosted our mana worm up so high already that we can probably sacrifice our mana worm. And because he's so low on health already, we could probably finish him off as well. So I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to hit with mana worm. He's going to die, unfortunately. But we're able to, I think we're going to use fireball here and then use the gnome to kill and do damage to the opponent as well, and continue to stack a board because we still have taunts in the board. So just continuously hit, and next round he's pretty much going to be dead. He only has 1 mana unless he has another epic heal, then he'll live, but he actually won't have an epic heal. And you really see the power of this deck, where you can either play a very aggro, constantly throw out minions, remain board control, or you can play a very tempo magey deck by just throwing spells at the opponent, which I think you'll see a bit more in the next match actually. So here, he's gonna use another one of these cards to, what was that even? I don't even know what that spell did. I forgot to read it, but it clearly, oh, it gave him cards. He's drawing cards to see if he can probably get another epic heal. I think that's what it was, but it seemed like he didn't get one. So unfortunately, he doesn't even have the mana crystals for it, so nothing he can really do. The game's pretty much over here. Gains mana crystals 7, and another epic. People love to play their epics. But you see, even with our cheap dust deck, we're still able to go against people who have all these good cards. This is a really good deck. I've really been enjoying this deck a lot. It's really, I don't know, it's just great. Especially if you love Mage. This is a great Mage deck. It takes advantage of a lot of the core things with mages. The only thing it doesn't take advantage of is secrets. And well, with secrets, you kind of want to have Mad Scientist in your deck. So stuff like Mirror Image and Mad Scientist, those work really well together. But Mad Scientist is part of like an adventure pack, and I don't have that. So that would be a really good alternative to add to your deck. Instead of some Arcane Missiles and No Chuggers, you could add Mad Scientists and perhaps even some secrets. So let me go and skip ahead, because here we're just basically getting more dust. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the next match, which is the last match for this video. So here we are looking for our third match, and I think this one's going to end pretty quickly because I think we have like a perfect hand start. Here you'll see what a perfect hand looks like if you're starting with one. If you have this hand, it's very easy to win because it's basically the core of the Mage deck that we have here. So we actually start off with not really anything great. Mirror Image is always good to have to protect, and we get Gnome, which is awesome. So we're gonna get rid of the Silence and get rid of the draw cards, and then check this out. We get Knife Juggler and we get Mana Worm. This is the perfect hand you could ask for. Everything is perfect here. So one of the mistakes I do here, you should be starting with Mana Worm, because it has 3 health. But I actually try to do a gamble here. I try to do the same strategy the last round. It clearly won't work because Priest does have an attack spell that does 2 damage, and I kind of forgot about that, so big mistake on my part. You should be starting, whenever you have a chance to start with Mana Worm, you should be starting with Mana Worm because you'll be able to boost it a lot earlier. So mistake there, and I end up going with gnome and the taunts. Once again, I don't really know why I did that. You should be starting with mana worm. I guess I kind of was just mad about the fact that I made a mistake, so I kept making a mistake. But next round, I'm actually going to put mana worm. So here, I put mana worm. Probably should have done that last round. We could have boosted the damage even more. And once again, that's a pretty hard clear there. It's a 4-4. And we're using both arcane. It's a 3-4. We're using both arcane missiles to get rid of that. Unfortunately, still not able to kill it because one of our arcane missiles didn't hit it. So I'm just going to be sacrificing Gnome to kill, and then it still does damage to him because of the -2. And you want to clear that because if you saw, it basically gives health to another minion. I didn't want to sacrifice him putting another minion out there and then basically giving it more health, so I sacrificed the Gnome so we can get something done. So here, boosting the mana worm again. We need more cards in our hand, so using the draw 3 card spell is great here. GVs will be a good thing to cast right about right now because right now we do need more cards because if we put Sorcerer out next round, we'll only have 2 cards. Right now he has the card advantage. You want to stay up with card advantage. So I think GVs is actually going to be the next one. But before, GVs is always like the last resort. You always want to use your other spells first because we're boosting mana worm. So yeah, and here I'm doing this because once again I want to keep board control. I want to keep my taunts on the board. So I use the Frostbolt. Generally, I usually advise you to keep the Frostbolt, but in cases like this where you have a very good board control, and once again, people love to use your epics, right? Of course. So he was able to clear that. But he's pretty low on mana right now, and we have a Gnome. Once again, the low mana curve really allows you to play a lot. If something like this happens where your board gets cleared, we're still able to bring out something. And you see I'm saving a Fireball here because I want to say that he's pretty low on health. If we can get him down to about 12, and then also another epic, for Christ's sake. If we can get him down to 12, and look, it's perfect right here, perfect right here. Now, I think he thought that if he puts GVs on his side, I won't get any more cards. But here's a fact for you. Even if GVs is on their side, you'll still get cards because GVs applies to both players, which is why it's important that you don't play GVs if the other person also has no cards because they'll draw cards too. So here, I'm still able to go, constantly do damage. Want to get them low enough so we can use both the fireballs together to do 12 damage. That's one of the most powerful things you can do. Do 12 damage with both fireballs for 8 mana, and we can do it next round. We have 7. So here he's gonna kill that, which is actually a mistake by him because, well, I guess in his situation he can't really do much, but it's still gonna do 2 damage. He can't heal himself. He's gonna heal with his hero power, but guess what? We still have 12 damage, which is still gonna kill him. So that's basically gonna be a win right there. Here comes the double fireball here. 6 damage, and we get 12, and that's a win. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you got some insight on how this deck works. I love the deck. I definitely recommend you guys to try it out. Any suggestions you guys want to give me, leave it in the comment section below. If you know how to make this deck better, that'd be great. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video helped you out in any way. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It'll really help me out. If you didn't like it, you can leave a comment below as well and give some feedback. If you have any other comments or questions, please leave them in the comments as well. And I usually try my best to answer those comments within the next 24 to 48 hours, depending on how busy I am. I also have plenty of other content on my channel about different gaming tutorials, as well as general gaming videos for Guild Wars 2, League of Legends, Minecraft, and any others that you may be interested in. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, check it out. And if you like what you see, you can subscribe too. Would really appreciate it. You can also check out my other channels and social medias as shown on the screen right now. And with that, thank you so much, everyone. And this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'll be back sooner than you think. Don't go anywhere.